And I want to start with the music, of course, in that original deal you structured.
Yeah.
Which was history making, record breaking, and so different. Like now everybody say they want to be independent.
Yeah.
But back then, everybody wanted to be on a label deal. That was a dream, right? Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I grew up in the projects in New Orleans, Callio projects, and grew up in poverty. And I realized that the one thing was the only way we could make it out of here, I couldn't get a record deal. I needed to do something to be able to take. I was living in a household with 12 kids, and I lived with my grandparents. So my whole thing was I was offered $1 million. And so when I got offered that $1 million, I said, I'm gonna be a millionaire. But then I started thinking I have 12 other people at home. So if I gave everybody $100,000, we still broke. And so I went to Jimmy Iovine, and he had a check for $1 million. He told me if I don't take that check, nobody's gonna do business with me. And I said, if this white guy offered me $1 million, he don't even know me, I'm a kid from the projects, how much am I really worth? Am I worth 10, 20, 30, 40? So I told him I was going to get something to eat. Jumped back on the plane. I jumped on Southwest Airlines, me and my brother. And so I had $500 in my pocket at the time. My brother asked me, how much money you have? We could have been a millionaire. I said, I have $500. But what I realized that day, my grandfather told me one thing before he passed. He said, never do business when you're desperate. And so what I realized, I said, I had to start thinking what my worth and my value was. I just got this guy that don't know me offer me $1 million. What am I really worth? So me and my brother about to fight. We on the airplane. We gonna keep it real. We about to fight because he like, now we eating peanuts on Southwest Airlines. And so I said, no, bro, I got it. We gonna make it. That's the only way I calmed him down. He said, how we gonna do that? Because I got this project, the ice cream man, we gonna sell millions. We gonna do it on our own. So think about it, if they was gonna give me, I looked at the deal about me going to college. Education is so important. So I read the deal, 7 years I couldn't use my name, they own my rights, everything. And so I was gonna get 12% a record. And I said, how much money is that really? What's the difference was, y'all know back in the days, we selling cassettes for $9, selling CDs for $20. So imagine me making that $20 and giving them 12 cents. And so when I figured that part out, I said, I'm gonna sell this out the trunk of my car because I watched the Avon lady. This old lady in my hood, I used to follow her around. And so she tell me, she said, what you doing? You the police? I said, no, I'm just trying to see what you doing. And so I watched her sell her Tupperware out the trunk of her car, and I said, I'm gonna sell my CDs out the trunk of my car, and I'm gonna go to every city, every hood out here from Atlanta to Texas to Chicago to New York, and I started selling my CDs out the trunk of my car. And I had saved up $300,000. And that's why sometimes when you have money, you don't tell people you got money. So I was in the ghetto, I had $300,000 saved up. I hid it, doing what I gotta do, because the next step was trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with my business. So I had to learn the business. And so I found it. I said, who was the biggest artist in the world? It was Michael Jackson at the time. So I said, I'm gonna call Michael Jackson attorney. So the guy talked to me, he said, Master P, what do you want? Michael Jackson is my client. I said, well, look, I wanna find out what kind of deal Michael Jackson have. He said, that's gonna cost you $25,000. I said, $25,000 to talk to you? I said, okay, sir, I'm gonna give you the $25,000. That was the best money I ever spent. So investing in yourself. And so I asked him, I said, what's the deal bigger than Michael Jackson? Michael Jackson was getting 22% of record. And I'm like, he owned Neverland, he got 22% of record, this gotta be crazy. So I said, what's the next deal? He said, you can get a distribution deal. but you're gonna need $200,000 marketing money. That's the only way you could get it. But he don't know I was already selling CDs out the trunk of my car. And so that's why I tell y'all, you are your best investment. And so all I wanted after that date was a distribution deal, because the distribution deal is you own 85% of the company and they own 15%. It never been done before. And so I went back, I kept looking for companies till one time Priority Records showed up and they offered me that distribution deal. They said, you got $200,000. I said, yeah, I got $200,000. He said, where you get it from? I said, I sold my records out the trunk of my car. And so that's how I got into the game. And so don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Like, I took that money, I could have went and brought all these nice cars and all these other things. I invested in myself.
That sounds familiar, right? We were just talking about that earlier today.
Yeah.
It's funny, we was talking about it. I had them do an exercise where I had them write down how much money they made in their business the last few years.
Yeah.
And we had numbers. What was the numbers we was talking about, y'all? It was like 40%, 60%, 130%. And I say, compare that to the stock market.
Yeah.
But we willing to invest in the stock market and other people, companies, we willing to invest in our own habits.
Well, we investing in stuff we don't know about. Think about when you know your business, you out there on the grind hustling, you know this. I'm investing in something that I know. I tell people all the time, they say, well, Pete, why you don't do this, you don't do that? I say, no, I'm selling cereal because I grew up eating cereal. I'm selling chips because I grew up eating chips. Think about it. These are multi-billion-dollar companies that we have nothing involved, because they tell us to do stocks, right? That's fine. But if you don't know stocks, I tell people all the time, stock is like real estate. Start small till you learn it. Get your feet wet. Because think about it. Before I go buy a mansion, I got to buy 10 little small houses. Before I go into stock and invest millions of dollars, I got to lose a couple $1,000s. And then I might quit. If I don't never make no money, I'm going to quit. I'm like, oh, I tried that, but it don't work for me. So I've always invested in the things that I do and I love and I'm passionate about, because that's the only way you're going to be, and I'm educated about. So education is the key, y'all. Educate yourself to what you believe in. Don't just get caught up in somebody say, oh, we're going to make $10 million. Hold on. Show me how we're going to make $10,000 first.